What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Christian here, coming back at you with another banger of a video. And today I am going to be giving you my top 5 free agent destinations for third baseman slash outfielder Kris Bryant post lockout. Now, before we get into it, guys, as always, do a couple of things for me, please. First, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. Next, go over, smash that subscribe button. That is the best way to show your support here on the channel. Then go over, ring that bell, get notified. Finally, if you want to get active, go down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts of where you think Kris Bryant could land post lockout. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into it. All right. Coming in at number 5 on the list is the Detroit Tigers. Okay, now the main reason why I have the Tigers here on my list is because I believe that the deeper we get into this offseason, even with this lockout still going on, the pressure will continue to build for the Tigers to make at least one more big move before the offseason is over. Now, I do understand that the main 2 positions that Bryant plays aren't the most critical positions for the Tigers to fill. Of course, that would be third base and outfield. However, if the Tigers come out of this lockout knowing that they and free agent shortstop Carlos Correa are still miles apart on a potential blockbuster deal, then I think the Tigers need to pivot and pivot fast if they want to add another big free agent bat this offseason, even if that free agent's main position is not shortstop like they've been wanting to get. I know they have bias for short as of now, but I still think the Tigers would like to get Correa. But if not, go after Bryant. Now, the next question becomes, if the Tigers do sign Bryant, where should they play him? Well, in my opinion, I think it's third base. Now, I know that Bryant has become sort of a super utility man over the past couple of seasons. However, when it comes to what the Tigers' needs are right now, their needs are just not in the outfield. I mean, in center field, they have the 2 rookies, Akil Baddoo and Derek Hill, who they want to give a fair shot out of spring camp. In left, they have Robbie Grossman for one more season. And in right, they expect to bring up their number 2 prospect, Riley Green, in early spring, or even have him break camp with the club for opening day. So in my mind, the Tigers' outfield is already stacked, at least for now. So I don't see a potential fit for Bryant in the Tigers' outfield if they do sign him. So that just leaves you with Kris Bryant being your third baseman, your regular everyday third baseman for Detroit. Now, I know people say that the Tigers still have Jeimer Candelario to man third base, but my counter argument to Candy playing third is that I just do not see him, turning into an everyday guy who can put up league average numbers day in and day out, especially if you want this team to win a World Series championship in the next 2 to 4 years. So with that said, if the Tigers do sign Bryant, I think they're signing him, to be their everyday third baseman. If he focuses on third, I think it will benefit him tremendously wherever he goes, not just Detroit. Not to mention that Candelario and Bryant are only 2 years apart. Candy is 28 and KB is 30. So age difference, not that much. Also, according to Baseball Savant, Kris Bryant would have hit 21 home runs this past season if he played at Comerica Park, home of the Tigers. Now, that is 5 less home runs than what he actually hit this past season of 26. But that projected number of 21 is still 7 more home runs than what Savant projects Candelario to hit next season if he played all of his games at Comerica. So in short, if the Tigers add KB, they'll be adding 7 more long balls from the third base position. That is great for a team like the Tigers. Also, if you look at some traditional stats like batting average, OBP, OPS, OPS plus, and slugging percentage, Kris Bryant trumps Candelario in all 5 of these offensive categories. So to conclude, if I'm Detroit, I don't mind signing a 30-year-old to a long-term deal who has won a Rookie of the Year, an MVP, and someone who has multiple years of postseason experience with one World Championship ring to show for it. So KB over Candy should be a no-brainer for Detroit if they really want to go this route post-lockout. So number 4 on my list is the Texas Rangers. Now I have the Rangers here at number 4 because of two main reasons. The first one is because the Rangers have shown prior to the lockout that they are all in for 2022. Of course, they showed this by signing two of the biggest named free agents out on the market. Corey Seager to man shortstop and Mark DeSimian to man second base. So why not go all in if you're the Rangers and sign Kris Bryant and round out the best infield in baseball? Now the second reason I have the Rangers here at number 4 on the list is because of who they currently have manning third base. So if the season started today, their opening day third baseman would be Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, whose primary position is not even third, it's shortstop. And even when it comes to guys on the 40-man roster who are actually listed as third basemen, like Sheridan Apostel and Andy Ibanez, these two guys combined stats from last season are not very good. They would look like this: batting average, 377, home runs, 7, RBIs, 25, stolen bases, 0, and an OPS of 1,049. And by the way, half of these numbers that I just mentioned came from Ibanez alone. That is honestly terrible. I mean, Kris Bryant's OPS alone stood at 835. That's just another reason why the Rangers should take a serious look at Kris Bryant post-lockout. Alright, clocking in at number 3 on the list is the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, the Phillies are the one team on my list that I believe could truly get the most value out of Bryant, especially defensively, because the Phillies have major holes to fill at both third base and the outfield. As of right now, the 25-year-old Alec Bohm and the 28-year-old Johan Camargo are the only two men listed as potential options for the Phils at third base. While on the other hand, the Phillies do not have anyone on their current active roster who is listed as a potential fit for left field once opening day arrives. So if there's any one team that could gain the most amount of value out of Kris Bryant, I believe it is most definitely the Philadelphia Phillies. So let's first look at how KB would fit in Philly if he just played third base. Well, I believe that signing Kris Bryant with the idea of him playing third base would be the safest bet for the Phillies. This is because you as an organization would not need to worry as much about trying to coach and teach an established big league player a brand new position. Kris Bryant is a guy who has shown he can handle third base and handle this position in the biggest of stages in the sport of baseball. Now, with that said, if you do decide to make Kris Bryant your everyday third baseman, then that means the 25-year-old Alec Bohm would lose his job at that position, which leaves you with a decision to be made on Bohm's future in Philly. Now, I believe there are two main options for the Phillies when it comes to Bohm here. The first option would be that you sign Kris Bryant to play third, and you simply decide to trade Bohm before the season starts for a high-end established starting pitcher, like maybe the 29-year-old Luis Cessa from the Reds, who has posted a 5-2 record with a 2.51 ERA last season in 2021. Now, the second option could look like this. The Phillies sign Kris Bryant to play third, but they keep Bohm and they move him to first, which is again his secondary position. Just want to note that. And then you, the Phillies, trade the 28-year-old Rhys Hoskins for that established starting pitcher, or even another high-end relief pitcher, maybe in a package deal. I mean, that could work, right? So those are the options the Phillies have if they sign Bryant to play third. Now, what would happen if they sign Bryant to play left field? Well, the biggest question for Philly in that sense is, can Kris Bryant handle this position on a daily basis and perform at a major league level? That's the big question everybody needs to know. Well, according to an article from DodgerNation.com of all things, left field is Kris Bryant's second most played position in his entire career. According to DodgerNation.com, Bryant has played 51 games at third, 42 games in left, 39 games in right, 17 games in center, 12 games at first, and 1 game at shortstop. So, I mean, if you're the Phillies, it gives you a little bit of confidence for him to play left field, right? Now, if that doesn't sell you on the idea of Bryant playing left for the Phils, let's quickly look at Bryant's performance in left last year, just left field. So, last year, Kris Bryant played in 35 games in left field, which added up to 309 2/3 total innings. While manning that position, he racked up a .983 fielding percentage with 54 putouts in 58 total chances in 2021, along with 3 assists and only 1 error committed in total. I mean, that's not bad. So I guess if you're Philly and you look at these defensive numbers, it should give you some hope that if you do sign him to play left field, there is a potential there to turn him into an average or even an above average defender. Now, coming in at number 2 on the list is the New York Mets. Now, the Mets are the one team you have probably heard in the not so distant past that are in fact interested in the 30-year-old Kris Bryant. Well, newsflash, the rumors, yeah, they're true. And it seems that many in the baseball industry do believe that once this lockout is over, signing Kris Bryant will be on the top of the Mets' free agent bucket list. Now, I know what you're thinking. You know, the Mets have already signed the third baseman Eduardo Escobar to a 2-year deal worth $20 million. In addition, to Escobar expressing his own personal preference of remaining at third base during his time in New York. However, it seems that this signing and Escobar's own personal preferences will not stop the Mets in their pursuit of Kris Bryant post-lockout. Now, if you're thinking, oh, well, the Mets will have Kris Bryant play right or left field, and they'll keep Escobar over at third. Well, I hate to inform you, that will not be the Mets' plan if they do in fact sign Kris Bryant. Now, with that said, if Kris Bryant comes to Queens, he will most likely be their everyday third baseman. And frankly, I believe having Kris Bryant stick to one position, particularly third base, in my opinion, is the best bet for him to maximize his performance not only defensively, but offensively as well. Now, if that is the case, and the Mets do have Kris Bryant become their everyday third baseman, the next question becomes, what do the Mets do with the newly acquired Escobar? Well, according to an article by FanNation.com, they believe that if Kris Bryant and the Mets marriage, were to work out, New York would simply move Escobar over to second base. Now, second base was Escobar's second most played position last season, because according to Baseball Reference, Escobar started 31 games at second last year, and he did so all with Arizona. So if you're a Mets fan, this option should give you hope that the Mets do have a spot open for Kris Bryant if he does sign with your ball club. Finally, with all that said, I believe adding Kris Bryant to the ball club would be the main course of their entire offseason. Because in my mind, the organization would have fulfilled all of their fans' requests coming into this year's offseason. Because they would have found 2 outfielders who can swing the bat in Canna and Marte. They would have added a solid defensive middle infielder in Escobar. They would have landed the starting pitcher, Max Scherzer, someone who can take the pressure off DeGrom in that rotation. And with this Bryant move, they would be getting a guy they could plug in at third base on a daily basis with no worries at all. Not to mention, they found a captain who can right the ship for not only 2022, but beyond in Buck Showalter. Go out there, they should get Bryant, plug him over at third, and I think you basically fulfilled every fan's request coming into this offseason. Finally, coming in at number 1 here on the list is the Seattle Mariners. Now, I believe the Mariners are the most likely team to land Bryant post-lockout for 2 main reasons. The first reason is because the Mariners have just lost their longtime third baseman Kyle Seager to retirement at the end of this 2021 season, which means the Mariners currently have a huge hole to fill at that third base position. Now, yes, if the season started today, the Mariners could technically place Abraham Toro over at third. However, He only played the position 32 times last season between Houston and Seattle. So if I'm a Mariners fan, I wouldn't be so confident in Abraham Toro manning the hot corner for a full 162 game stretch. That is why I believe signing Kris Bryant is indicative for this Mariners ball club. Because look, Kris Bryant would provide great veteran presence both on the offensive and the defensive side of the ball. And like if he were to sign with the Mets, I believe having Bryant stick at third base on a day in and day out basis is not only the best option for him, but the best option for the Mariners ball club overall. The second reason why I think Kris Bryant would be a great fit in Seattle is because I think it is vitally important that the Mariners make one more big splash post lockout. And I think signing Kris Bryant would fit that requirement perfectly. Look, we all know, even with Kyle Seager retiring, the 2021 and 2022 offseason was going to be a big one for the M's when it comes to them flexing their financial muscles, especially with this free agent class we have here this offseason. And you know what? So far, it has been a big offseason for the Mariners because, as you remember, they traded for the second baseman Adam Frazier from the Padres, in addition to making one of the biggest signings in franchise history when they inked the reigning American League Cy Young Award winner Robbie Ray. Now, with all that said, I think the Mariners have one or two big more moves left in them this offseason. And I think one of those two big moves needs to be bringing Kris Bryant to the Emerald City. I think he not only fills their needs when it comes to his defense at third and his raw power he provides to that lineup, but I also think Kris Bryant replaces that stardom within the organization that Kyle Seager has left behind in retirement. And let's face it, every young championship hopeful ball club needs a guy who has been there and done it before. And frankly, that guy is Kris Bryant. So go out there, Mariners, go get Kris Bryant, bring him to the Emerald City. So that's all I got for today's video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications. I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Where do you think Kris Bryant will land post lockout? And as always, I'll catch you guys later.